So you've once again spunked away all of your lockdown funds on beer, whiskey and cigarettes, and now you're hunting through all your old pairs of pants, searching for any kind of loose change to buy yourself or a loved one a new smartphone. Well, fear ye not, because Xiaomi is here to sort you out with a fresh new Redmi 9, which costs just 139 quid here in the UK, or 150 if you want to bump up the memory and double the storage. And despite costing just 1/5 of the standard iPhone 11, you get a fully fledged smartphone experience here, one which I've been enjoying and occasionally enduring a wee bit over the past week. So here's my full final review of Xiaomi's Redmi 9 smartphone, and for more on the latest greatest tech, please do subscribe and ding that notifications bell. Cheers! So starting with the design, the Redmi 9 doesn't do anything particularly surprising. At this budget price you get exactly what you would expect, namely a cheap and cheerful plastic frame. That said, I do approve of the circular swirl pattern and the lack of glossy surfaces, which means I don't have to spend hours buffing the thing on my t-shirt to get rid of the endless greasy prints. And I've got to say, this ocean green model is rather pleasing on the old eyeballs, not to mention calming on the old soul as well. But you do have a choice of purple if you're feeling a bit jazzy, or carbon grey if your idea of a wild night is adding a splash of malt to your bedtime glass of milk. Up front, Xiaomi has been proper cautious with the Redmi 9. Not only is that display coated in Gorilla Glass 3, but you've also got a screen protector slapped on there to keep scratches at bay. And so far, gotta say, the Redmi 9 is proven tougher than a concrete Jean-Claude Van Damme. Absolutely no scratches or chips or anything to speak of. But yes, this phone is a proper big bugger, like pretty much every smartphone out there, so it is just as well that Xiaomi has served up a bit of one-handed help where needed. Now on the software front, it's Android 10 running on there, but of course you do have a bit of MiUI 11 of Xiaomi's own creation slathered on top, and it's a combination that can prove a wee bit shonky at times. For instance, quite often those app shortcuts in the tray at the bottom will just disappear, and you actually need to pull up the apps drawer for them to reappear. It's like a spectacularly shit magic trick. And you'll notice the odd other wee quirk as well, including the occasional ad which still pops up when you're installing apps or whatever. But MiUI has definitely improved recently, and I've got high hopes for the MiUI 12 update, which is coming imminently. After all, MiUI does add in its fair share of decent bonus features, including plenty of resources for cleaning up your memory and storage. You've also got a fair bit of crapware installed, however, not all of which can be dispensed with. And to actually unlock the Redmi 9, you've got what is probably the dinkiest little fingerprint sensor in the world built into the bottom end of that sticky out camera chassis. And at first I was seriously worried that this would be awkward to use, but I find that my finger falls on it straight away when I pick up the phone, and it is impressively responsive too. And thankfully so far I haven't had any issues with smudgy camera lenses from any over-enthusiastic fingering. And there's also a bit of face recognition action for those sticky-handed moments, which works pleasingly well. It's not all good news with the Redmi 9 though, and of course at this sort of price point you do have to lower your expectations a bit and expect some limitations. So for instance, there's only single band Wi-Fi support on here, so I found that when I was downloading a big file or I wanted to stream some high fidelity music for instance, there'd be a bit of a wait involved. And also, despite Xiaomi's website here in the UK claiming that the Redmi 9 has built-in NFC, I could not find that in the connections and sharing section of the menus at all, and Google Pay told me in no uncertain terms that the Redmi 9 would not be used for contactless payments. So that sure sucks. Back onto the good bits though, and I really like that 6.53 inch IPS display. It's a full HD plus panel, which is just as well given the size of the thing, so your Netflix or your YouTube or whatever will look nice and crisp. Colours aren't particularly poppy, but the contrast is okay, and the screen is definitely bright enough for comfortable outdoor use. And the downwards firing mono speaker is absolutely fine, but you will want to use a bit of Bluetooth or get on board with that headphone jack. The Bluetooth connectivity though, I've got to say, isn't fantastic. If you stray even just a small distance away from whatever speaker or device that you're streaming audio to, it will start to break up quite quickly. But as long as you stay right next to it, or you're just using a pair of headphones with the phone on you, that's absolutely fine. Performance is of course often a sore point for phones around this sort of £150 mark, but the MediaTek Helio G80 generally manages to survive everyday existence without exploding. You've got a choice of 3 or 4 gigs of RAM with the Redmi 9. This is the 4GB model. It costs you just 11 extra quid over the standard model, so I'd say definitely go for it if you can. A couple of times over the past week I have had apps hang on me, or Chrome just for instance completely crashed and had to be restarted, but apart from that, touch wood, the Redmi 9 has been behaving itself. And you can even get a bit of split screen app action on the go if you really need to. Meanwhile, gamers can blast through the likes of Call of Duty and PubG on medium detail levels with a pretty respectable frame rate. Again, you'll find the odd little stutter creeps in here and there, but nothing serious. And that's definitely helped along by the game turbo feature, which can help free up memory and keep things ticking along nicely. And I'll tell you what, I am certainly a fan of the battery life here on the Redmi 9, thanks in no small part to the massive 5020 mAh cells stuffed inside. And even though that's just a 20 mAh capacity higher than the Moto G8 Powerline, I definitely found that the returns were better here on the Redmi 9. This thing did me 2 full days between charges, even with a little bit of Skype action, some camera use, stuff like that. And sure, the 18-watt so-called fast charge support isn't exactly sweat-inducingly rapid, but it's basically standard for budget smartphones around this price. And let's finish up with a look at the quad-lens rear camera, starting with that 13-megapixel primary lens. This is just fine for simple everyday snaps, as long as you stick to the basic laws like never shooting into light. The Redmi 9 isn't great in HDR situations, so those are definitely best avoided. But to be fair, it is rare to see any serious oversaturation. Likewise, indoor snaps with ambient lighting often come out quite soft, and sadly there is no night mode on the Redmi 9 either, so you'll need to resort to the blinding flash whenever the light gets proper low. Still, for a budget blow, the Redmi 9 more than holds its own, and despite those limitations, I was more than happy with the results from a lot of my test picks. Try to keep your subject as still as possible and you are golden, with the ability to take really nice looking portrait shots, and that's helped along by the 2-megapixel depth sensor. You've also got an 8-megapixel ultra-wide angle lens, although I avoided using this as much as possible because the pics you get are often grainy and rather dull looking compared with those from the primary lens. And the final lens in this quad effort setup is a 5-megapixel macro lens, and frankly that can do one because macro shots of plants and stuff are pure pish. Video results are perfectly respectable. You can only shoot up to full HD resolution, but that's still good enough for home movies when they're viewed back on your laptop. Audio is usually picked up fine from all directions. Occasionally it can be a little bit quiet in front of the camera if your subject isn't too close, and wind distortion can mess things up a bit. That's a pretty standard complaint with many low-end smartphones. And you'll also want to avoid walking and shooting at the same time, as the stabilization, it ain't too hot. As for the 8-megapixel selfie cam, well, this often came up trumps. Your shots are detailed, colours are once again natural, and the portrait mode can help you to stand out from the crowd. And that right there is what I think of the Redmi 9 after using it as my full-time smartphone for a week. As you can see, the few little quirks here and there, the performance can be a wee bit stuttery at times, even with this 4GB model. And of course, how much you love or despise MiUI is going to basically sell or destroy this phone for you. But I'd say if you've got 150 quid, this is one of the strongest options out there right now, just for full-on usability and features. But if you're still unsure and you're looking for some more inspiration, I have rounded up the best sub £200 budget smartphones that you can buy in the UK right now. Go check that out. I'll try and remember to bung a link up there or in the end credits bit. If you've been using the Redmi 9s, if you let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, please do plug subscribe, ding that notifications bell, and have yourselves a lovely rest of the week. Cheers everyone, love you!